Okay, it's a rainy day here in Arizona, and it's actually perfect because I have a project that I'm working on today that has been in the making, I feel like, for a year now. So we started a year ago, like this month, working on downsizing our house, and it's insane. Like, I was a hardcore crafter for 5 years, collecting planner stuff, going to Michael's a couple times a week, getting like planner happy mail every day. And when it came time for us to decide to RV life, I realized that all that stuff had to go away. So what I'm going to be working on today is the last of the boxes that were at the house. So I got everything down to that small amount, and I've brought one of the boxes that just has a bunch of miscellaneous craft stuff, actually 2 boxes that had miscellaneous craft stuff and all the washi down. I brought the D-stash box down to the RV as well. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through all of that stuff as well as everything that's in the RV. So my goal is to get it down to just less. My daughter is going to be a teacher here in Arizona starting in the fall, and so the upside is I don't have to try to sell everything. I don't have to try to get rid of everything. I'm just able to say, hey, here's a bunch of stuff for your classroom. I'm the best mom ever because I've secretly been plotting helping you with your classroom for years. At least that's the way I'm going to feel like I'm going to do. So what is happening is I'm going to go through all the last of the stuff that I have in the RV, determine if it's something that I need and that I may use, or just something that I want to keep. And if not, it's going in the box for Zoe. So I don't consider myself to be much of a minimalist, but the challenge that I've had with all my craft stuff is that I have a lot of it, more of it than what I need, and I'm never going to use it all. Like, I've come to that realization. And so the things that I have, I want to be able to use and not be able to find them. And then I want to be able to buy more stuff in the future. There's styles that change, new stuff that comes out, and I felt really guilty like bringing more stuff into the RV that is not stuff that I ever thought I would get to using. So by using what I have, getting rid of what I won't have, rehoming it, I guess, and finding a new place for it to be, I'm feeling better about it being put to good use and not just going to waste. So today I'm going to have you with me while I go through all of this. So I basically have part of the under the bed storage is taken up with my craft stuff, part of my so under the bench, under the bed, and I think that's it. But I have a goal of getting it down to less than what it is now. So that's what I'm working on today, and you're going to come with me. All right, wish me luck. Okay, so here's where I'm at right now. I brought the bin up with the goal of emptying it, and I knew that I was gonna put a lot of stuff away, like I said in the beginning. Some of it needed to just be organized and taken back to the house. Some of it needs to go away. Some of it I'll keep in here. So that's what I'm in the process of going through right now, is I'm trying to figure out what is here, because the boxes that I brought from the house, I couldn't remember what was in them. And then the stuff that I had here, some of it just needed to be condensed down. Like, I knew it was already going to go, like my silhouette, my vinyl, my HTV vinyl needed to go. And so all of that stuff I knew was going to be out of here. So that was a quick bin, like, filled up. So I know I want to keep my sewing machine. I know that I want to keep this one box here of planner covers because I like to change the covers out a lot, and I don't necessarily want to have to go buy a new one when I get finicky and decide I want to switch sizes, so I don't really like changing those out. I've got still way too many pens and pencils, and I think I'm going to give a ton of them just to my daughter for her classroom in the future. I've just got to go through them and make sure that none of them have cussing on them or too snarky of comments, and then I'm going to let those go to her for her classroom. The other thing I'm going to do is I have a lot of paper still, and I've not used a lot of paper on the road. I need to do one more destash of it and just go through and figure out what I'm never going to use and what maybe someday I'll use that I feel still like I want to keep. And then I've got a box behind you of like craft materials that I'm not sure what to do with. They're like pens, stamping stuff. I don't do a lot of that stuff, but I feel weird getting rid of it, like an embossing tool, because I'm like, what if I need to emboss something one day? And, you know, it's a crafter's thing where it's just like, you hate to go buy a $30 machine. You hate to get rid of like a $30 machine to then go out and buy another $30 machine in the future. An embossing machine's not $30, but like I've got a Xyron, which is like a sticky maker. Even my Silhouette, I didn't want to get rid of it, but I don't necessarily need it. Like I've only used it one time in the RV, and so that's why I'm going to give it to my daughter, who's a teacher, who I know will use it all the time. And, you know, so I'm just trying to sort through this, and my goal is to get it all underneath this bench here and maybe have one more bin that goes in there. Like in a perfect world, my rolling bag would fit into the RV. So I'm going to flip it around and show it to you guys now that I've talked about it so that it'll make a lot more sense. Okay, so I've got a box here of disc bound, or discs for disc bound planners. You can see this year I'm in 3 disc bound planners. So, I mean, it seems like it makes sense to hold on to those. I don't see getting rid of those. I think that, I mean, I've collected these over the years with the idea that I could just change the rings out when I needed them. So it feels really, it helps curb me wanting to buy more things like that. I'm trying to keep all my ephemera in here. So my goal has been to keep all my sticky notes, small die cuts, bows, any planner accessories in here. That I found though in this sewing bin. I thought this was all sewing stuff, but it turns out it's not. There's 3 cartridges of like die cuts, and so I've got to go through and get rid of that or put it in the destash pile. I think most of it needs to go in the destash pile. But I've got my sewing machine right here, and that's not going to go anywhere. Tombow pens, and you can see some Kelly Purdy pens that you can't even buy anymore. So I don't really want to get rid of them because when I want to use them, I want to use them. But so I'm going to keep them. I just got to figure out where to put them. And then this is like my embossing tool here and some of my stamping stuff. And then down here is more stamping stuff, all like little tags and journaling cards. And this box right here is all stamps. So I guess I just have to decide if I'm going to keep stamping or not. See, here's the empty box that I emptied out. This is stuff going to my daughter. Washi, which is going to go away. Stuff going to my daughter. Bin that will fit into another bin. So I'm trying to only fill this thing halfway for what I take back because I have a half empty bin at the house. This is all destash. So this stuff is for sure going to go away. The Xyron will stay, and this bin will stay. This stuff needs to go, so I'm going to put it up on Mercari and see if I can get it sold. I bought this with a lot of intention. It's one of these wire twister things. I've never used it, and the mint I used once. So these are all the pencils I'm going to give away to my daughter. These are pens. These are probably pens that are going to go away too. And then there's some beading stuff that I think I can fit right there. So this is all the paper, and it looks like it's not a lot, but it is. Look at all that paper. So this is all paper that I'm going to have to decide what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of. I know that there's paper in here that I'm never going to use that I was just hesitant to get rid of. And so, this is the part of it that I hate. The miscellaneous box. Okay. So I've just been putting stuff in here as a catch-all. And I did this before I moved. This is the half box that I told you that the stuff that I'm going to put in this box here. This is the stuff that was in the other half of the other box. So this is all stuff I've made. So I really like making like dashboards and filling notebooks. And I collect, these are all paper clips, and then the bin underneath here is all miscellaneous stuff. So I'm not going to keep all this stuff, but what I've got to do is go through it, look at it, see if it's something I think I'll use in the future, and then keep it or throw it away. Part of me wants to just throw this whole box away and not do anything with it. But then I'm going to wonder. Then I'm going to wonder what I threw away, or I'm going to look for something and think that it's there, or think that it's in this box. So this is time consuming, but I found it's easier to just go through the box than it is to wonder what was in the box years from now and be bothered by it. So it's time consuming, but I mean, you look around and it's like, this is organized and can be saved, and that is a very small amount of stuff. This, I probably don't even need to go through that. I could probably comfortably put it under the bench and call it good. That stuff I decided is going to go away, like all of that stuff up there, and all of this stuff is going to stay. So all of that stuff can fit down here in this bench, and I don't have to think about it anymore. But I don't want to go through it and keep putting myself through this process. So I'm just going to take the time to go through it and call it good. This is my normal planner bag, and there's still space in there. But I don't know. There still might be too much stuff. There's not too much stuff in here. I know that. This is what I use. I use this stuff. I've touched all of this stuff in the past 30 days. So there's no reason to get rid of it. I've already done a phenomenal job reducing down what I had 1 year ago to what I have now. Like that whole huge room, this is the last of what I've got. But I remember hitting a point where after 3 months of purging the whole house that I just hit decision fatigue, where I just couldn't make any more decisions about the stuff. Like, I know back at the house, I still have a box that has cards in it that are just cards that people have given me over the years, and I'm probably not going to get rid of it. So it's going to go in one of the totes that I keep long term, and I'm going to call it good, because I'm not going to guilt myself over keeping that. Like, I've already gotten my entire life down to just a handful of bins and what exists in this trailer. So I'm not going to guilt myself over keeping a box of cards. I'm nearly 40 years old, and if that's what I have, then that's what I have. So I feel good about what I've gotten this down to, but I want to get this home stretch done, because these are like the harder decisions. Sorry, my knees are going. These are the harder decisions that I've put off, I realize, since May of last year to get done. And so I either need to integrate this stuff and commit to having 2 bins of things and some miscellaneous stuff, or getting rid of it altogether. So I can tell you where my attachment is to this stuff, and that is I really loved putting this stuff together. So I've enjoyed the craft time of doing it. And like, I almost wish I would have had a hobby like cards, or like, because you can give those away. But when you're talking about like planner dividers or like when you're talking about planner dividers, or when you're talking about little pieces that you used inside of your planner, like, what do you do with them when you're done? It's hard to, like, I don't have an answer for you, and that's what I'm trying to answer right now. Is I can certainly keep them, but in my environment I don't really want to, because they're just going to take up space. So I'm going to have to go through and make some hard decisions here. I've enjoyed all of this stuff. I got to use it. I got to play with it. I carried that planner around for at least a month, if not 2. So I know I've gotten my time and money's worth out of this paper, and it's just paper, but I don't know. I loved it so much, and I want to keep loving it, but I've got photos of a lot of things, and so I don't know, maybe take a picture of it and let it go. That's what minimalists tell you you're supposed to do. I don't know, but I'm going to sit here and go through this and let you watch, okay? Okay, so you just saw me sort through all this stuff. I'm going to explain what I was putting where and what's going on with the last of this stuff. And then I'm going to clean up because this is a mess. So these are things that I think I'll use. These are old planner, like A5 covers or covers of some kind that I think I'm going to use, but I'm not sure. I've not had the heart to purge them, so they may go back in storage, but I saved them because these are my favorites. I realized I already went through these. These I can give to someone that I know that just told me that if I have any A5 stuff, I can give it to them. This is going to go into the Zoe pile. Not sure what to do with these. These are all paper clips and buttons and stuff, and I'll probably keep the buttons, but the paper clips, they're probably all going to go because I don't use them anymore. This is a stack of memory stuff that I'm not sure what to do with. I need to put together like a scrapbook or something because this is all planner traveling and planner goodies stuff. Up here, I was sticking pictures and keepsakes that need to go in that other envelope, and then old notebooks right here. These are filled, and so I just need to do something with them. And then I actually found the first half of last year's A5, so I need to put that with it. And then there's some notes in here that I have been working on condensing all my Bible notes to one notebook. So I'm going to condense that stuff here, which is another project. And then these are all cards that I have been looking for. I was actually looking for these during the holidays and I couldn't find them. So they're like Christmas cards that I made a few years ago. And I sold some, but the rest I was going to use. And then this is like letterhead or whatever. Anyway, these are all cards that I planned to mail out, but I just couldn't find them. So now I know where they are, and I think I can keep them in here for next year. So okay, so here's where I sit with everything. This is the last of my craft stuff. One of my goals was I wanted to create a space where I could just open this drawer right here, or this door, and get my planners. So ta-da, that is good to go. This is where I keep postcards. This is like ephemera, sticky notes, anything that's like loose, it gets kept in that bin. And then this is my watercolor stuff. Obviously every girl needs a label maker, my Xyron, and then my planners. And then since I don't access this stuff every day, it's like maybe once a month, I will get into this probably every other month. I moved all of my planner covers back here. So this is all my pocket size, my B6, my A5 covers, along with loose notebooks, and all of my like spare covers are there. And then back here is all my sewing stuff. I feel like I did a pretty good job getting this narrowed down. All of this stuff was kind of spread out all over the place, and so now it's narrowed down. Also, this is where my craft bag has been sitting. There's like a tiny ledge right here, and so I moved it. I was able to reorganize the under the bunk storage and get everything narrowed down to here. So this is where my craft bag is going to sit now, unless I need to take it somewhere. I will do a walkthrough of the craft bag if you guys want to see it in the future, but this is basically all my stickers are in here, all my loose everyday, or not every day, but like when I plan on Sundays, this is the stuff that I use. But I don't need it all. I usually, like, I'm down to very few sticker kits and accessories, so I really just pull one or two things out and then call it good. This needs to come out though. So I'm probably going to organize that before I close up the bunk. And I've got some pens that I'm going to probably put in here, but I'm able to close this up now. Oh yeah, like here. This needs to go in here. I can close this now and not have it take up as much space. Before, this whole side of the bunk was all like craft stuff. And so now this is like a violin and some bags, and that's that. So I feel pretty good about the progress that I've made here. My biggest goal was to just get this stuff into a space that was manageable and do it and I feel good about that. So what's left here is basically, this is a Firma that I need to go through and figure out what I'm going to do with that. This is a bunch of stuff that needs to go into a scrapbook, and so does that. I've just been putting it off. This is the paper clips that I'm probably just going to box up and put in a de-stash pile because that's very planner specific. I did not go through the paper. I'm just going to put it away. This has been a really long day going through all this stuff, and those are the pens that I need to put in the bag. But this is my de-stash box. I'm going to let my daughter go through it before anybody else does. This is what is left that is going to be stored. So I did decide to keep the Planner Society, like all of the covers that I've made. I like these and I'm not ready to let them go, and I don't have to. So I have a half a storage bin at the house that this will fit into so that I've completely emptied this out. These are my stamps, which I'm going to fit underneath the, I'm going to fit them all back underneath here. And then the silhouette is going, so is this box of stuff. And then I've been selling the washi online. The washi is going kind of quick, and this stuff over here is going, it's gone. So it's been quite a day, but this is the last of it. This stuff is all basically gone, and this is what's been kept. Go me! I did good. So I hope that part 1 and part 2 of these videos have been helpful for you, whether you need to de-stash a whole craft room, whether you just have a small space that you're trying to get back under control. I for sure do not see myself as a minimalist. I live in a smaller space, so I need to have less things, and I don't want to be paying to store a lot of things that I'm not using, which is the biggest reason that I've gone through this entire change and this process for myself. I've talked to a lot of people on my podcast and live in person that think that this entire downsizing thing is completely bananas, totally unnecessary, and not for them. So I certainly appreciate a beautiful craft room shot. I certainly think that it's amazing people that can devote those entire spaces to their homes like that. But I'm glad that I've taken the time for my life and to simplify for myself what it is that I've got. I'm really enjoying crafting. I'm really enjoying reconnecting with my planner, and I found it so much easier for me to sit down and plan my week, add the stickers in, and not be sorting through so much stuff. So if you ever want to hear anything more on Crafty Stash, I talk about it a lot on my podcast, Planner Girl Chatter. But this journey has been absolutely amazing when it comes to what I've been able to do in the short period of time that I've been doing it in. And I hope that if you needed a little bit of inspiration, that this is it for you. So you can check out the part 1 video if you happen to miss it, or take a tour of our RV. I'll link those two right here at the end of this video. But I hope you subscribe and stick around for more of the adventures that we have in the RV and more crafting stuff. Up next week, I'm going to be doing a flip through of my January planner and talk to you about the goal setting that I've been doing in my planner as well, and kind of share with you how it is that I used everything in the month of January. All right, well, subscribe, and I hope to see you next week. Bye!